Hi, this is Royce with Viking Wax Press and the Alternative Football Network. I've recently gotten back into collecting football cards of all kinds. In fact, you may have seen my recent video where my brother and I reviewed our top 20 football cards of all time. It all started way back in the 80s when the USFL came to town in Portland, Oregon, where we live. We started making our own cards to fill in the gaps of the ones that the Topps company hadn't made yet. Then fast forward about 40 years, and I saw this guy named Jake Milligan of UFL Card on X and Facebook had started making his own custom cards. It's kind of cool to see how far the digital age has taken the ability to make your own cards. So I figured I would join in the mix. By the way, Jake is great. He has a bunch of different kinds of cards, including this Cole Hakatini. He is also on a site that I'm a member of on Facebook called UFL, USFL, XFL, AAF Trading Cards. I decided to make my own cards, so I went in as part of my experience with the Alternative Football Network. As I covered the Showboats in 2025, each week I would make team leader cards for the best players of the week for the Showboats that week. Here's a couple examples. Matt Coughlin and this awesome Boogie Roberts holding up his kid Ace. I love that one. And then after the year ended, I made some league leader cards to highlight the best players of the year. And then I decided to make my own full set of UFL cards, custom cards, not for resale, but available to anybody who wants them for free. So if you want, you can go out onto my X profile page, and pinned on that page, there's a link to where you can go get those cards, print them off if you want to. Just get some thick card stock, print them, have them cut by the printer, or I just use FedEx print shop there. Here's my printed set that I made. Anyway, here's a couple more examples. Jalen McClendon, Brad Wing. So I made about 45 guys for each team, and here are a couple of my favorites, Bryce Perkins and Deion Kane. So I released that set, as I mentioned earlier. After the season was over, I started tracking UFL to NFL movement and making an update card for each of the players that got signed from the UFL to the NFL. So I will have a sub-series set of UFL to NFL cards, and I'll probably release that once the NFL season starts. And another project I did recently was as a member of the Unforgettable USFL Facebook site. The few members on there that are kind of hardcore USFL fans, we have voted on the top 20 so far. We've done 2 votes, 10 per year, of the best Hall of Fame worthy candidates, since the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton doesn't seem to recognize the USFL very much. We've made our own vote, so we've got 20 players, and I made cards for all of those players. So that was a fun project because I used the 1976 Topps Wonder Bread template and made cards, including card backs, for the players that we've all voted in. I usually don't do card backs because they're super time consuming, but since there was only 20 cards for this one, it was fun making the set. Here's Anthony Carter, and also here's my Herschel Walker. That was a fun set. All of that, it got me talking with another member of that site named Eric Shalone. Anyway, we got talking about our shared fandom of the Breakers. He was a New Orleans Breakers fan and got to go to some games when he was a kid. I was a Portland Breakers fan and got to go to some games when I was around 15. So just really kind of spurred our love for football and our passion for spring football. I had this Breakers electric poster on my wall as a teenager. So the combination of talking with Eric and that 80s Breakers poster got me thinking about a series of cards that I wanted to make. So I actually did it, and that's why I'm posting today, is because I made a whole entire series of Breakers cards. I'm calling it the Modern Spring Football Throwback Series. I'm starting with the New Orleans Breakers. I don't know if I'll do any more, but this set has 51 players and actually a bonus player. But here's a few examples of them. Manny Patterson, Sal Cannella, Vontae Diggs. It was just neat to be able to take the images and kind of put them in unique positions if I had the right image. And here's a few more examples. Here's just a kind of quick screen grab of all of the cards I made. All of the cards are from the 22-23 season, except for Buford Jordan, who is my all-time favorite Portland Breaker. So I included him in this set just because I loved watching him play as a kid and just felt he deserved it. And I also made a card of that electric poster. That series is actually going to be available online. If you go out to X or Facebook, find my Viking Wax Press site, subscribe to the site, you'll be able to find this link to the Google Drive where you can print off or download this set of Breakers cards. Again, these are for free, not for resale. Do not try to resell them. I'm really just doing it for passionate fans who really enjoy the sport. That's all for today. You can find me on Facebook or X. Subscribe and follow me there. I'm also on the AlternativeFootballNetwork.com, as well as several other great content creators. Give them a follow too. Also want to give a shout out to my brother, Aaron. who started his own YouTube channel recently called Pro Football Retro. Please subscribe to him and help him get his channel off the ground. He has a great interview with Greg Moser on the channel, and Greg talks about his experience with Jim Kelly and Mouse Davis, Reggie White, current Panther coach Mike Nolan, and so on. And then there's also a video out there right now about Aaron and I went to a card show, and so Aaron videoed our experience going to that card show in Portland. Really cool stuff. Give him a follow. This is Ben Royce with Viking Wax Press and the Alternative Football Network. God is good, y'all. Take care.